If I'm being honest, I feel somewhat desensitized to the news here in Canada because it seems like every day or every week, there's just horrible news, horrible new policies, horrible things happening. But for the first time in quite a long time, my jaw actually dropped. And I've been sitting here just staring at my monitor going, how the hell do I start this video? How do I compile everything into this one video? Because there's so much to talk about. There's the first time home buyers program in Canada is been canceled, right? You got taxes that are on the rise as of April 1st. You have the Italian prime minister is absolutely embarrassed because there's so many protesters. They're protesting Palestine and Justin Trudeau. Like, there's just so much to cover. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. We're on road to 400,000 subscribers here on Mr. Sunshine Baby, and I owe that all to you guys and the community. And once you're subscribed, there's a little bell icon that shows up. Might as well smash that too, because YouTube has this weird thing where they actually don't like to send out post notifications, or they actually like to unsubscribe people from channels like mine. So it just adds a layer of insurance. And if you'd like a matching sticker like the one I have here on my microphone, you can find the link for that down in the description or the pinned comment below. And without further ado, let's get into this here. So we're going to start off with this question period clip from Pierre Poilievre. It says this liberal NDP government is hiking taxes on beer, wine, and spirits on April 1st. This is no joke.
Plan will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Meanwhile, the NDP Liberal Prime Minister has raised taxes on gas, heat, and groceries, raised taxes on paychecks, raised income taxes on middle class and lower income Canadians, raised taxes on small businesses. He keeps raising taxes. It's enough to drive a man to drink. But he wants to tax that too. On April 1st, another 5% increase on beer, wine, and spirits that will kill jobs for those workers and raise costs on consumers. Will he have the humanity to let someone have a drink in peace?
No, he won't. He wants us all to starve. He wants us all to not be able to afford, even wine, beers, and spirits because of the increase in taxes. And speaking of being able to not afford anything, it's interesting that Pierre Poilievre is advocating so much for building houses and all those things. And that's what we need here in Canada, especially when Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government pull some shady shit like this here. This is Ron Butler. I follow him on Twitter, or X. He's a phenomenal analyst. He says, first-time home buyers incentive has been canceled. Guess Gray and his mom knew it was a crap program. This program was quietly shut down Friday with a tiny note on the CMHC website. And look, folks, I have 400,000 subscribers. I'm a little bit IV plugged in to the news here. I get notifications on X. I get notifications on my phone all the time. All right. That's why a lot of people, almost 400,000 people, have subscribed to my channel to be able to deliver the news and compile it in a digestible fashion. Right. So I get it. I didn't even know about this. I didn't know about this till I saw Ron Butler's post on X about this. That's how low under the radar this was released. It's absolutely insane. So I looked into it, and it's freaking true. And this goes back to 2019 when Justin Trudeau said a stronger first-time home buyer incentive will help even more families buy their first home. So little ones like Gray can have a safe and comfortable place to grow up. And if I'm being totally honest, I used the first-time home buyers program to buy my house for my family. I'd put some money into an RSP under the first-time home buyers program. You can take up to $35,000 withdrawal from your RSP, and you can use that as a down payment under the first-time home buyers program, and that is interest-free. You don't have to pay it back for 2 years, and then after 2 years, you owe a little bit of interest on it unless you pay it off, or whatever it is. I forget the exact details, but it's kind of a good program because an RSP, you can't actually take money out unless you want to be super-duper heavily penalized. So if you've been contributing to an RSP, a registered retirement savings plan, I believe is the lingo for in Canada, normally people don't touch it. It's like super bad to touch that, right? You get heavily penalized. And now Canada is actually scrapping it. So I did a quick Google search. First time home buyers program canceled in Canada. And sure as shit, it is. The Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, CMHC, has officially terminated the first-time home buyer incentive, according to BNN Bloomberg. The cutoff for new or revised applications is set for March 21st at midnight Eastern Standard. And even CBC had an article that just got swept under the rug March 1st. First-time home buyers incentive is discontinued, says the Federal Housing Agency. And this is just very concerning because why wasn't this brought up by the conservatives? Why wasn't this brought up in question period or news conferences? Why wasn't this brought up? Because that's how under the rug this was swept. And there's a lot of other things happening, like the Arrive scam debacle, the committee hearing an investigation for the RCMP that's investigating Justin Trudeau for the Winnipeg lab leak and espionage, like all that. Like there's just so many controversies, and you're always looking everywhere, and it just feels very chaotic. And there's no structure, there's no anything to. There's no path to anything right now. It's just reaching for straws everywhere. And I get it. It's very annoying. And it feels like every new video is a new controversy. And you wouldn't be wrong with that assumption, because that's actually the state of Canada right now. Every single day, there is something new to talk about. More stress, more taxes, more bullshit, more everything. This is very concerning, though, because that is another thing that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals have promised, right? Just like they've promised fresh drinking water for Indigenous communities. I have like 500 people like way up in the north or way isolated and remote communities. And those people in those Indigenous communities have been waiting for years, 8 years. The only thing that Justin Trudeau has actually done that he's promised Canadians is legalize marijuana. That's it. He hasn't done anything else. And it's so frustrating because if we look at 8 years ago or 10 years ago to now in our cost of living, it doesn't even make any sense. It feels like $100,000 salary is the new $50,000. And if you're making $250,000, that's kind of where the new $100,000 threshold is here in Canada. And it's insane. You shouldn't have to go to the grocery store for a small trip and spend $100 to $200 or even $400 for a small bag of groceries in Canada. But herein lies the issue and why we need to fix our government. Speaking of fixing our government, we have constant protests that are happening. So protests are gathering outside of the Fairmont Royal York, where Trudeau is meeting Georgia Meloni today. And you can see the comments. Nice. Shame him out of office. Keep up the good work. Someone says happy birthday. Trudeau for treason. All right. Let's take a look here. There is not a single place in Canada that Justin Trudeau can make a physical appearance to where this doesn't happen. This is an embarrassment when you have other world leaders that show up, and this is the state of Canada. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that people showing up and protesting is an embarrassment. I'm saying the fact that we are in this position is embarrassing. I love this. I love what's on screen. I love the fact that people are always showing up with Canadian flags. WEF and Trudeau must go. F Trudeau, jail time for Freeland. Right? Like this is awesome. This is very good, and it sends a very strong message because it's been very consistent. It's not just a one-time thing. It's been happening for years. What is an embarrassment is the fact that it doesn't really happen like this in other countries. That's how bad Canada is. You have other, third world countries or whatever you want to call it, that they have a little bit more respect for their leaders. Justin Trudeau and the entire Liberal cabinet, the NDP coalition, they're never going to live this down. This is going to haunt those family names forever. They're just burned to the ground. And that's what's so embarrassing, is because our reputation as a country is kind of being smeared against the wall. So very frustrating, very annoying. And now we have a bit more people that showed up to this protest here. You got Daisy Media on X saying Prime Minister Trudeau had to cancel a dinner event with the Italian Prime Minister after a group of Palestinian demonstrators took over the area around the Art Gallery of Ontario where the dinner was to be held. Protesters banged on the doors and windows of the museum, and a large number of Toronto police, including mounted units, responded. Absolutely insane.
Hey everyone, I'm in Toronto still. I've left the Royal York, and I believe Justin did not leave the Royal York for the second dinner date that was supposed to be held at the Art Gallery of Ontario. I'm here at the Art Gallery because the Palestinians have surrounded the Art Gallery, and I like I'm positive Justin's still at the hotel, and it's there's ambulances, tons of police, and now they got the mounted unit.
Bitch, I did that in color. I did that in fucking high school.
Yeah, so those that just logged on, so we were at the Royal York all day today because Justin was meeting the Italian Prime Minister, and then they were supposed to leave. They were supposed to leave and come here for dinner, but the Palestinians knew about this place, and then this is what we've got.
There are a few things you can see there.
So I'm almost positive, I know Justin would not leave without his armored car. So he's still at the Royal York. And I believe the dinner plans have been shut down. I'm positive that they've been shut down. And they brought in the mounted unit. Now, there was a lot of other Twitter feeds that showed a lot more Palestinians that are here now. So some of my guys left the Royal York to set up here, and then we realized that the Palestinians were already here.
You know, the most embarrassing thing about what's happening in Canada and Justin Trudeau getting constantly protested and heckled is that it's not just from one group, from the right or the left. It's not just from one ideology or from one circumstance, right? Like high cost of living or housing being unaffordable or the carbon tax. There's so many different angles. It's coming from everywhere. You have the support for Ukraine, you have the support for Palestine, you have money laundering, you have why aren't you helping Israel the way you're helping Palestine? You just like all those different things. Those are just the international ones. That's not even to mention like the freedom community here in Canada, right? For what they did to the truckers, for just plain and simple F you Trudeau. I mean, that's its own entity. There's just so many reasons why Justin Trudeau gets protested, and it's just sad. It's sad that Canada is at this state, but we're here for it, and we got some more updates, folks. You got Daisy Media here again on X saying some interesting intersectionality at the Palestine March in Ottawa. Let's take a look at this video.
Are you Antifa or a pro-Palestinian person? Are you a Palestinian? Or are you Antifa? We call Antifa behavior. What?
Good old black bloc, yeah?
This is Antifa behavior. Watch yourself.
Is this okay? What?
Personal space. Everybody's allowed it.
That is so many people.
Interesting. Some interesting intersectionality going on here. And this crew of people that don't appear to be Palestinian keep blocking my path. What's this? It's like I'm a magnet. You must like me, eh, man? This guy really likes me. This guy really likes me.
Don't support this behavior.
He must really like me.
You're certainly not.
Oh, I'm over here now. Oh no, I'm over here now. What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? Fucking tough guy. You're the ones that told those people to start following
Look at him. How close he got to me.
Oh man.
That's
fucking lunatics? You the same people that leave stuff at my house?
Okay, so obviously things get a little bit heated at these protests, but nonetheless, there's a lot of emotions that are running high, and I don't think that this is going to end anytime soon. I think that we're in it for the long run here, even after the next election, after the Conservatives inevitably win with a landslide decision. I think you're still going to see an uproar of protests, and it won't be F Justin Trudeau. It might actually be the left trying to, recreate what the right or what conservatives or what these protests are right now against Justin Trudeau. And that's just, we're living in this perpetual state of they do this, we do that, they do this, we do that. And where's it going to end? Not anytime soon. Next up, we have Wall Street Silver on X, and how many Canadians live in this weird cycle where you work just to pay rent for a house or an apartment that you're never at because you're always working.
How many Canadians live in this weird cycle where you work just to pay rent for a house or an apartment that you're never at because you're always working? Well, you're not crazy. That's just the way it is now. In Ontario right now, where I live, the typical worker's bringing in $27 per hour before tax. With average asking rents of $2,178, this means they'll have to work at least 80 hours, so 2 straight weeks, before rent is paid. But this current rental crisis is caused by 2 simple factors. Unprecedented numbers of people are entering the country, and home builders aren't even close to keeping up with demand. And while the Trudeau government has promised to slash the intake of international students, Canada is still on course to bring in historically high rates of migrants for 2024. So Canada finds itself in a very tricky catch-22, where, due to the rising cost of living, young people aren't having kids, so our population is not expanding naturally. And as time goes on, we have more and more people aging out, entering retirement, requiring pensions, requiring more health care. So we need more taxpayers. How do we get more taxpayers? Bring in hundreds of thousands of immigrants per year. But that just exacerbates the housing problem and clogs up healthcare and other infrastructure, which leads to increased cost of living. So people don't have more kids. Population doesn't expand naturally. See where I'm going?
A perpetual cycle of doom here in Canada. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is your cost of living extraordinarily high, where you feel like you're just constantly working to pay bills and you're not really getting to enjoy the fruits of your labor? I mean, the whole idea of like family vacations, family trips, that seems to have been a pipe dream. It seems to be that just a movie moment now, some sort of Hallmark card instead of reality. And now we have, a rise of cost of fuel, right? With the carbon tax. And that's not just going to be fuel. It's going to be the fuel for the truckers, right? The fuel for the farmers, the ones who make the food, who ship the food, then the ones who buy the food. It all comes down on us, the consumers, at the end of the day, because everyone has to cover their profit margins. It's just a horrible cycle of expenses, and it's going to take years, unfortunately, to get out of this mess. And I don't know about you, but I'm concerned. I got a kid, right? A year and a half, almost 2 years, and I have another one on the way, set to be born in July. And I'm frightened for my kid's future. Are they ever going to be able to afford a house? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea, but it doesn't seem very likely at this point. That's where we're going to end today's video, folks. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Any questions, comments, or concerns about any of the topics that were covered? I look forward to reading them once the video is posted. I'd like to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.